have an arrest warrant for the abduction of prisoner X6911.
Enter the stars. So, this Mandalorian episode is a perfect example of how they weave this blue blood versus red blood into their storytelling. So in this episode, the Mandalorian is tasked with protecting the last living descendant of an almost extinct race. He has to deliver the mother and her eggs to the last remaining hospitable planet to save her frog-like race. But en route, they're stranded on an ice planet where they encounter a room full of what appears to be Egyptian canopic jars. Now, many of you will remember these scenes from the Alien films when they stumble into this room full of an alien hatchery. Now, this is important because we were just talking about how these demons time travel, and they preserve their host DNA from an easily possessed hybrid Nephilim in a canopic jar. They put the organs inside of these jars, which then reduce down to a black goo, which is DNA rich, so that they can then reanimate themselves through these hybrid clones, or some people call them golems. They're soulless and ready for demonic possession thousands of years later during the end times. Now, time travel has been described as an arrow passing through time. Now that we know what these evil ones consider time travel, we can now begin to pull apart their symbolism. They believe that it is like an arrow. And when doing this decode, I discovered that these alien embryos do in fact look like the feather of an arrow. Now, to wrap your brain around this, no one has made this analogy to this point, but it in fact looks like the backside of an arrow, the feather of an arrow. Now we begin to understand what the Economist cover might mean in the 11.5 and the 11.3. Dates of Samhain, November 5th, November 3rd. Just so happened to be the date that England went into full lockdown. So in effect, Donnie Darko was right. Time travel is like a spear coming out of your chest. Now this may sound like science fiction to some, but if you think it through, this scenario is completely plausible. So, the episode begins to round up and finish as Baby Yoda opens one of the jars. And what's inside? A Blueblood spider. So there you go. Blueblood confirmed. Take care and be safe, you guys.